Good morning, Graham here from Gatehouse Security. Today I've had a few issues with customers and their batteries for their automatic gate systems, solar systems. Um, Most gate systems are 24 volt, so they have two batteries in series, and that is enough to run the system. But what I have found in the last few weeks is that a lot of customers are ringing me up and saying the batteries are not holding charge. They're going flat quickly. They're less than a year old. They just basically just not working. They're rubbish. They charge up in the morning. By the end of the day, they've gone flat again. So I won't talk about that for a minute because there's different types of batteries. And in Australia, we have different types of climate. I'm in Perth, and to be honest, for the last week, we've been knocking on 45 degrees per day. And that is really, really hot. Now, I rang up some of the battery manufacturers this morning and I spoke to them and I said, there's a 12 volt, 9 amp hour battery that we use for a lot of gate systems. We've been using them for years. They seem to be fine. Normal life is about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I've been using these for a while. But in the last few weeks, I've had a lot of calls from people saying the batteries have died. So I contacted the agents and they said, yes, this type of battery is just a basic 12 volt 9 amp hour battery, and its normal operating temperature is 25 degrees. And you have to remember that these are stacked together in a plastic box and they're sitting out in the sun. Now, the battery manufacturer said to me, if the temperature goes up by 10 degrees, it halves the life of the battery. Now, that's a lot. So from 25 degrees to 35 degrees, the life of the battery has been reduced to half. So what happens here, where I live, where it's been 41, 42, 43 for a week or two now, he said, oh, those batteries will just die within a few weeks. They'll be gone. So that's an interesting point. So I'm also getting a lot of calls from Queensland, and Queensland are having a similar issue. They have some really hot, stinky days, and the batteries are just not holding their charge. So now we know that the cheaper, actually they're not much cheaper, only like $5 cheaper. The cheaper batteries are not, they're just lead acid batteries. So they've got a liquid inside them and they've got acid in the liquid. And when they reach a certain temperature, the water starts to evaporate and will not move around the battery or do anything in the battery. And remember, the batteries are normally lying down. So they start to evaporate from the top down until the point gets to a point where there's no charging or anything happening inside at that temperature. Now, the next stage of type of battery is a AGM, deep cycle battery. So what's the difference? This battery just has lead acid in it. So it's acid and water, and you shake it. I can't hear it, but you should hear the liquid inside. So this one here, it's got a mat inside, so like a sponge, and it stops the water level from moving around. It soaks up from the bottom to the top, and basically it keeps it charged longer. Now, the operating temperature of these is normally 25 degrees, but they can go to 35 degrees, even to 40 degrees, and not have a problem. So that's the AGM, or deep cycle battery. And they're only $5 or few dollars more than the real basic one. Okay, so these are the ones you should be going for, the AGM battery. AGM is to do with the matting that's inside, right? If you want to use lithium-ion battery, there's different types. They've got different controllers and that. They will actually go to 50 degrees, from 25 to 50. So that's really, really good. So there won't be any problem there. I mean, they don't like extreme cold. So like 0 degrees, they don't like that. But these ones are okay. So I thought I'd talk about that today because it's been a real issue for me for the last few weeks. and I thought I'd explain it to you. So you buy the AGM battery, not the basic lead acid battery, and especially for gate kits when the batteries are lying down like that inside the box, which is quite common. And if it's just liquid, then it's just going to, the level of liquid is going to go down, down, down to a point where it can't hold its charge anymore. Actually, one of the things that I've found in the last few weeks is people say to me, when the sun is out during the day, everything runs perfectly. But then first thing in the morning, there's no battery power left. So what that tells me is that they're not being charged or they're not holding their charge, because during the day they're running on the solar panel and everything's working fine. So if first thing in the morning there's no power there, it's because they have not held any charge during the day. They haven't stored it, which means that the liquid inside has evaporated. And if you go and do a load test on these, you'll find they've got 12 volts in them, but you put a load test on them like you do a car battery to see what the condition is, they die completely. I've tried it. So, all right, so buy the AGM minimum battery, not the others. Thank you for that.